All right. Greetings, Kindred. I am voivodemekhet, and this is Tapping the Vein. Welcome, Silent Comedy, for this fun conversation we're about to have about the sewer rats, the Nosferatu clan. There's actually a lot to cover about this because there's been some interesting changes that have happened with the Nosferatu, but not too many. I mean, they're still the Nosferatu.
Yeah,
they're still the Nosferatu.
The Nosferatu are a staple plan.
Yeah. Have you ever played Nos?
I haven't. No. So this session is going to be a lot of me speculating and just talking about like the stuff that I know about them, but I've never experienced playing one.
Okay.
So
Okay. Very cool.
Every time I sit down to play one, or I'm going to make a Nosferatu, I just end up with something else. It just happens to me. A lot of the times when I sit down to make a Nosferatu, I end up with a gangrel before I'm done. So,
well, I can see that. They're both like massively survival type characters and stuff.
Yeah.
So as far as the Nosferatu go, I think one of the biggest differences that we have in V5 compared to other systems is most of the Nosferatu, unless a player decides that they're going to play hard mode, basically, most of the Nosferatu can pass as human. But they definitely look like severely deformed or injured in some fashion. Where in the old days it used to be that thing is not a human. They're a breach of a masquerade just for existing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm a lot happier with this because it still makes things socially awkward to have.
Mm-hmm.
And given their power, given their power, catalog, the obfuscate has changed. It's not just about indivisibility any longer.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
It's actually harder for a Nosferatu to get around with just not being noticed than it has been in the past.
Yeah. On the Bane, when it comes to the V5 take on them, it's it doesn't outright state that they are inhuman in appearance, but it does state that they're hideous and vile and count as having the repulsive flaw, which, if I remember, the repulsive flaw is actually, I think, was renamed to monstrous, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. My book specifically says that they have the repulsive flaw at a -2, and can never increase ratings in their look merit.
Yeah, that's what my book says as well. But I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm like, I seem to remember there being a typo between the merits mentioned in the Bane.
There very might well be, simply because they've done so many
minor edits,
PC affecting. They've done so many things involving and trying to make the game less offensive to people.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I guess repulsive is.
Yeah, no, it is called repulsive. So I guess I seem to think that remember that the 2-point flaw was monstrous.
Maybe it was monstrous and they changed it to repulsive.
Maybe they did. I mean,
that's a possibility.
I could also be thinking of something entirely different, so that's very possible. Yeah. But I've just.
But since you did bring up the Bane, let's go ahead and handle Banes first.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it says that in addition, any attempt in disguising themselves as non-deformed incur a penalty to their dice pool equal to their character's Bane severity. This includes obfuscate powers of Mask of 1,000 Faces and Imposter's Gaze.
Mm-hmm.
So even with the ability to make themselves look like somebody else,
supernaturally,
they're still at a negative based on their Bane severity.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a rough.
They've definitely gotten a bad hand in V5. Not that I would change it. I think that's fun.
Oh no, I think it's exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah,
it's just mechanically, right? But thematically, it only doubles down on the fact that they are they wear their beast on the outside.
Yeah,
right. That they, even through supernatural means of the blood, their curse still fights to make them, appear as monstrous and not let them hide that fact. Yeah. So
now
that wouldn't change anything about the Bane mechanically, though.
Now, the Nosferatu, we've touched on the concept of stuff that they've done different in Requiem, on top of Masquerade. The Nosferatu were also in Requiem, much like Clan Bruja, but they had some slightly different stuff. First off, they were not all hideous in Requiem. They were just socially incompatible.
Yeah, they had whether it was it could be their appearance, it could be a smell, it could be just
a behavior,
or like a sixth sense kind of feeling.
Yeah,
that made everyone uncomfortable around them, which resulted in them basically being terrible at social roles.
Exactly, and I think it's most of the time it's like a 3 trait down in most challenges or something like that. Because in the old system of Masquerade, it was they gained 3 points in repugnance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and I remember in the second edition tabletop, it was they just had an appearance rating of 0, and they could never increase it.
I'm really glad that they got rid of the appearance, attribute.
Appearance and perception were 2 attributes that just felt out of place.
Yeah, I'm glad they got rid of them.
I'm glad they got rid of them as well. But in older editions, I believe that the appearance of 0 thing, that's one of the very few instances where any character could have a 0 in a stat.
Yeah, and I mean, it was.
I remember like a lot of people we played with back then, because the character sheets came with the first dot filled in already.
Yeah.
And so like they would have like big, just these big gaudy like X's. With pencil marks over that dot.
Well, you take a couple of you take a jump forward in editions. When they brought out the first Dark Age book, not only did the Nosferatu have that, but also the Cappadocians did. When you look at Dark Ages, because they couldn't make themselves look human, they looked like corpses regardless.
Yeah.
So then you get into LARP, and you've got repugnance of 3 for the Nosferatu, and then you've got Ghastly of 3 for the Harbingers of Skulls.
Mm-hmm.
So jumping into the alternate Bane, we have Infestation.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm not super familiar with their alternate Banes.
I love it. I really, really love it. This is again one of those ones that I would take that twice cursed flaw.
Okay.
It's so much fun because you can look like a standard individual. You can look like a standard person with the Nosferatu with the alternate Clan Bane. But it says no matter where they go or try to hide, swarms of vermin follow the Nosferatu. Some are plagued by swarms of rats, others act as a beacon to roaches, while still others cannot get rid of those damn pigeons and their leavings.
You know what this makes me think of?
I love it.
This makes me think of, if you've probably seen it, the Lord of the Rings, the first one.
Yeah.
When the Nazgul is riding on its zombie horse.
Yeah.
And into the Shire, and you've got the hobbits huddled up under a tree. And they're covering their mouths because these maggots and worms. All coming out of the dirt. That's what that makes me think of. That's actually a really cool way to.
It makes me think of. It makes me think of the first Men in Black movie. With Farmer Egger, and he's the giant roach inside the farmer skin, and whenever he slams his hand down on a desk, and all these bugs just fall out of his sleeves.
Yeah,
that's what it makes me think of.
That is such a good movie comparison. I love that.
I would like to point out also, I know this is sidestepping the concept of what we're supposed to be talking about here, but and I actually have to pull up my Google for a second. Oh my god.
So their haven is always infested with vermin?
Not their haven, them.
Well, it says no matter where they make their haven, they soon drive all other inhabitants away.
Yes. A
Nosferatu haven is always infested with vermin, causing a penalty equal to 2 plus their bane severity to any attempt at an activity by anyone that requires concentration, as well as social tests at the storyteller's discretion.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Now, what I was going to say though is I would like to point out that Farmer Egger from Men in Black is played by Vincent Onofrio. I'm probably I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong. That's the same guy who plays like Kingpin now in the MCU.
Yeah. Yep. That's the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that just blows my mind. Just like the range of that actor. There's a man with Mask of 1,000 Faces.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So those are the two banes for the Nosferatu, and I love them both. I have a really hard time deciding what I want to see in my games.
I think if you're gonna take the Infestation, you have to take Unliving Hive as a discipline.
Well, not only that, you should take like the highest looks merit possible. You should be the most gorgeous person in the world and just be covered in vermin.
That's brilliant, actually.
It's just fun.
That gets into some like I don't know. You could really get into some like thematical, or not thematical, but like some narrative parallel with like how like Lucifer was the most beautiful angel but was the most morally bankrupt, you know?
Yeah.
So you kind of have that thing where like you're the most beautiful vampire, but you're really just like you've got these nasty things that live inside you.
Yeah, no, the wretchedness just swarms to you.
Yeah. So Lord of the Flies kind of thing, which is actually funny because that used to be a flaw in older editions.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah!
It was a 5-point flaw where you're Lord of the Flies. That always just screamed Nosferatu.
I used to take Lord of the Flies and the other flaw, Parasitic Infestation.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that one.
Parasitic Infestation was effectively like you are completely filled with, like Oogie Boogie from freaking Nightmare Before Christmas. You've got things living in you, but they're all ghouled to you. So it effectively is like the Swarm Attractor level of animalism nowadays.
Yeah, the unliving
hive. Yeah, and you could make them just shoot out of your body and attack people.
That is a degree of body horror that actually makes me uncomfortable. Like
success.
I have a pretty high tolerance for body horror.
Yeah, that's nasty.
But that's just when it comes to bugs. I can't do insects and
the Nosferatu are grody, and they should be. That's who they are.
They are very gross. Yeah.
I got yelled at for playing a Nosferatu.
Really?
I did.
More than like more serious than when you got yelled at for playing a really bad Zamisi?
Oh god, no! I just made the storyteller disgusted when I played that Zamisi. No, I don't. I like to play the monster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like to really bring in a character that is going to be the monster. And one time I just decided, you know what? I'm going to play Nosferatu. I don't do it very often. Every time I tried to play the Nosferatu, it's kind of a situation where the game falls apart, like right after or something like that.
Right.
But I bring in this Nosferatu to this game, and this other person who comes up to me who does not have the highest opinion of themselves comes up to me and is just like, why would you do that? It's like, why would I do what? It's like I wanted to play a Nosferatu, and they're like, why? And like they go off on me on like why you should only play the beautiful monsters.
What?
And I'm like, that's not what I'm trying to get out of that. I mean, but by all means, play it the way that you want to. Like, by all means. Like,
by all means, play it the way you want to, but don't be out telling other people how to play the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I really want to take a second, because, like, you mentioned the monstrous character. And, you know, the Nosferatu, maybe more than any other clan, is one that's really hard to, like... For me, at least, maybe not everybody feels this way, but like the clan to me is one of the harder clans for me to like. And maybe it's why I've never played one. Put myself in their shoes.
Okay.
Right, like I don't have a high self-esteem about my physical appearance as it is, but the idea of like you are repulsive, you are absolutely just inhumanly deformed. You know, and I've been recently replaying Bloodlines 1, and you know what? Some of these characters like Bertram Tongue or Brother Canker, you know, like their heads are just deformed and bulging, and like Brother Canker's got like metal rings, full like.
Well, yeah, they're like piercings. He's just got piercings like holding them together.
Holding them together, and it's like the idea of just like how traumatic that must be. And I've recently been catching up on Thicker Than Water and the Camarilla game. And the character Jazz, I think, was like a year before she ever left the Warrens.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's going to be a decade before I leave the Warrens if I got to.
That's something that people don't get, and I think this is a thing that people don't get because of the game Bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the time, is that you get embraced in Bloodlines at the very beginning, and then like that night you're taken to meet everybody and blah blah blah. But like in the lore, it can take up to 2 weeks for your body to go through that transformation.
Yeah, I always heard 3 nights, but
okay.
But I have heard the 2 week thing, but I've always heard that it takes a minimum or like exactly 3 nights is the most common one I hear. It's also something of interesting like take on the previous edition's lore about the Nosferatu embrace too, is that like it's one of the most compassionate moments typically by sires of the Nosferatu clan, because they tend to you and like I
think it depends on the child.
Well, yeah, it depends on the
sire.
The sire, absolutely. But like it was just the norm, I guess, or like the common embrace was like a moment of very intimate compassion from the sire to the child, like tending to them, making sure.
Depending on the relationship, I can see that.
Yeah, but I can also see Nosferatu like embracing a Cleopatra and leaving her lay in the gutter for 3 days.
Yeah. Well, like my NPC, Jacob Monroff, which is the terrifying monster to everybody.
I absolutely love that character so much.
He was embraced. Speaking of Bloodlines, speaking of the original Bloodlines, I stole the name Virgil Crumb. the corpse that everybody finds in the morgue is named Virgil Crumb. I stole that as my character as my Nosferatu NPC's sire's name.
Awesome.
But he was embraced out of spite. Like the Brujah wanted to embrace him because he was an educated man and they thought he could bring some respect to the clan. He was originally supposed to be embraced by Colin Griffin. Okay. And Virgil Crumb, who was an asshole Nosferatu in the late 1800s in my city, who hated the Brujah, basically got played by some. There were some shady dealings happening, but he basically gets
as there are,
and he's not the smartest guy anyway, as it is Virgil, and he embraces Monroff and then throws him in a sawgrass field. And just lets him writhe in pain getting sliced up by the sawgrass. And that was the concept that I was going with, is that your body softens up when you're being embraced. It's like what happens to a caterpillar when it's going through its chrysalis, except it doesn't have the protective shield of the cocoon.
Right.
So it's soft, it's malleable, and it's just thrown into basically a field of blades at this point for Monroff. And then he's taken out, and he was raised by Clan Gangrel after that. But like it took him 2 weeks to go through that full-on transformation. But those first couple of hours were spent rolling around in sawgrass.
That's terrible.
So yeah, no, Monroff he's ugh.
I mean, there are a lot of clans that have like the Lasombra, for example, are particularly known for their like
ruthlessness,
ruthless and just inhuman treatment of their progeny. Going into and during the embrace and kind of that trial period after the embrace. But I think if you were going, like, it makes the most sense to me that if there was gonna be a clan that just produced the most violent, just traumatized monsters, it would probably be the Nosferatu. Just because
definitely
how awful their embrace really is. Yeah,
we always get that Beauty and the Beast syndrome when it comes to Nosferatu, in my opinion. Like, you always see the gentle monster. Yeah. You know, like even Kindred the Embraced, the Nosferatu Primogen Datalist. He was the most sympathetic. I'm just going to go ahead and say god awful makeup on that show when it came to the Nosferatu. But like he was like his backstory, he was so gentle and he was so sweet. But like also he was very inhumane at the same time. He did some dirty stuff.
Oh yeah. I think that's the duality of just vampires.
Yeah.
And that's the because I've been experiencing that. Like I said, replaying Bloodlines 1, my humanity has been up and down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to do it in character and role play that, and I think that it's kind of helped me develop my understanding of characters that I have.
Yeah.
But like that really is what that's the challenge, right? Like it's you're back and forth between this inhuman, just ruthless monster to trying to hold on to a piece of what you used to be.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that character. I think that part of the character makes sense. But yeah, no, the makeup for that. There was a lot of things with that show, and I'm not gonna badmouth the show. I loved that show. I hate that it
so
didn't
bad,
continue.
but I loved it so much.
But it was so bad. Yeah,
it was so bad.
It was terrible. But I forget where I was going with that. But like well, take it away because I already forgot. And I'm all
okay. Well, moving on from all that. We do have the Nosferatu compulsion, which is great for who they are, but I will tell you, as a storyteller, has caused me so many problems that it's unbelievable, and it's not because of what it is, but because of its name. Nosferatu suffer from cryptophilia. Okay, and it says straight out that if you the need to know permeates the vampire. It's the need to have all of the information. Right. That is what cryptophilia. Cryptophilia means it's obsession of the hidden. It's obsessive of knowledge. That is what that means. Unfortunately, cryptophilia has like 5 definitions for the word, and nobody knows all of them.
That's funny.
It's really sucky because I have seen a sexual attraction to cryptids.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Like you want to bang Bigfoot. I have seen an unhealthy obsession with cryptocurrency. And one of the worst ones is cryptophilia. In some definitions, it's an alternate word for pedophilia.
That's not okay.
It's not okay. When I was running, helping run Sanguine Samba at Gen Con, and we were doing LARP Light. LARP Light has this awesome stuff where it's just like, here's an index card with all of the information you need. Go play. Go have fun. It takes you like 5 minutes to get ready for the system and just enjoy yourself and have fun. We had somebody who picked up the Nosferatu card and it saw cryptophilia and instantly thought that they were an entire clan of pedophile vampires and like just was ready to quit.
Yikes.
And it's because of that word. It's not what it means. I hate to say it. It is what it means because that's the definition, but it has an alternate meaning.
Yeah, I've never heard that, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not like I read it and was like, okay, they want to get all the information.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And so I never had a second glance at the word until you said that. But I thought when you said that it has like 5 definitions and nobody knows them all, I'm like, well, that's like that's the kind of irony of like
irony.
The name for the phobia for really long words is a super long word, right?
Well, like, that's because people who come up with names for words are just sadistic bastards.
That's true. They really are.
Oh my god! No, they do. They have an obsession with trying to figure out what secrets are. They have a need to know all of the information, which really kind of supports the whole concept of ShrekNet and stuff like that when it comes to the way the Nosferatu. Rest in peace, ShrekNet. But
R.I.P.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah, no, the fact that they have always been kind of the info, like they were info broking the clan.
Yeah.
Nosferatu, the brokering.
Yeah, if you wanted to know something, you ask the Nosferatu because if you can go to see them or not, they are there.
Oh yeah, it pays homage to that saying. It's like, and it's funny that my players will find, like every now and again, one of my players will sprinkle this in with a character as they're like educating a younger character. Is like, All right. So they're like, have you learned about the Nosferatu? And they're like, I heard the name. And they're like, okay, it's just safe to assume that even if you don't know they're there, it's just safe to assume that there's always a Nosferatu in the room, no matter where you are or what the circumstances.
Yep.
And I think that's funny. And they do have a really good reputation for doing that.
It's the concept of always think that you're on camera.
It's like the Nosferatu. The Nosferatu are the Kindred equivalent of the NSA listening in on all of our conversations.
Absolutely.
It's like we know it's happening, but we can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. So the Nosferatu, the Nosferatu clan disciplines. We've got Animalism, we've got Obfuscate, and we've got Potence.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? I think that's perfect. Personally,
I was going to actually bring up something you had said about these disciplines before. Is that if you ever played a caitiff, these were the 3 disciplines you took because they were just the perfect vampire disciplines.
Definitely, I love the idea. They're the perfect survival disciplines. Like if you ever looked at like the old like first, second edition tabletop books, when you look at the caitiff. Mm-hmm. It says that, pick your 3 disciplines, whatever you want, or by default, caitiff are supposed to get potence, fortitude, and presence. Those were the default disciplines if you couldn't choose one of your, choose your own thought process.
Potence, fortitude, and presence?
Yeah, because you can give a hit, you can take a hit, or you can talk people out of hitting you.
Yeah.
In my thought process, the perfect survival disciplines for those who don't want to be seen would be Animalism, Obfuscate, and Potence. Like it's such a great combination of find a way to contact, find a way to eat, stay out of view, and if you really, really need to, cause some damage.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you said they're the perfect survival disciplines, I was like, well, the Gangrel begs to differ, but for someone who doesn't want to be seen, okay.
Gangrel beg to differ, that's true.
Gangrel beg to differ. Goes back to the Gangrel video of that line where I said Gangrel literally need nothing from anyone.
Yeah, that's true.
To survive. But no, I think that the discipline spread that the Nosferatu have is honestly pretty fitting. When you think back to traditional vampirism, old monsters and castles kind of vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Bats, rats, stealthy movement, and inhuman strength. Those are kind of trademark points of those of that vibe.
When you're staying out of the social categories, but yeah.
Yeah, when you're playing into the more monstrous vampire tropes and not so much the social tropes. Yeah.
Mm.
I want to take a second because I think obviously the Nosferatu are probably the most known for Obfuscate.
Okay.
They're one of the clans that I don't think really has a quote unquote clan discipline, but if they had one, it would probably be Obfuscate just because it's their most it's the most dependent. The discipline they depend on the most.
Absolutely.
But I actually kind of want to challenge that a little bit just for the sake of conversation and say that I think Animalism is actually the most important discipline for the Nosferatu.
Okay.
Well, because for one, they live in the most inhospitable environments, and it's very difficult for them to hunt in normal ways that other kindred would hunt.
Yeah, especially at first, I agree.
Yeah, and then on top of it, though, is because they have this need to collect information and know the secrets, they have this drive that's in their blood.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what else are they going to do?
Well, true, but I mean, the animals, there are, especially in cities, you got to think Animalism can work on pigeons, rats.
Oh, roaches. No, definitely. They have their little furry and feathered spy networks.
Oh, yeah. And it's I think it's quintessential to the Nosferatu to have their little animal spy networks that are communicating with them and telling them what they see. But I guess your mileage may vary for our listeners because it depends on how much of a conversation your storyteller is willing to role play from an animal.
I love role playing animals.
Yeah, how do you role play animals?
So much. I've done a lot of zoo work. I'm a zookeeper. So, like, at least I was in a past life, and and I don't know. I just picking up on animal mannerisms. I did a lot of in enclosure work. I was a hands-on zookeeper. I wasn't the kind of person who's just like, I'm going to, put this thing in a side area and do my job. I worked with the animals hands-on. I was the person who used to go in to events like schools, like at schools and stuff like that, and bring animals and like introduce them to kids and stuff like that. Like, it was my job to understand the animal's body language and way of communication. So,
awesome.
like, a lot of my friends and family, they go, okay, well, this guy has animalism. That's just that.
Yeah.
So being able to portray the attitudes of an animal. I've run full sessions where it was just one guy talking to a rat.
That's awesome.
And it's a lot of fun because if you know what the animals actually want in life, it's a lot of fun playing it and giving them their own little personalities. Like, very short-lived NPC, and I hope we see him again at some point in time in Thicker Than Water. We had Hater the Nighthawk, who was just this, like, he was in the Chicago part of the game where the gangrel Annette, they had Hater, and Hater just wanted to murder pigeons. That's all he wanted to do. He didn't want to eat them. He didn't want to do anything. He just wanted to. He wanted a slow falling cloud of feathers everywhere he went. That's all he wanted. So awesome. Playing this psychotic like addicted to murder bird was just so much fun because they were bribing him with the capability of murdering things. And it's just that bestial urge of what does this animal want? Mm-hmm.
Most of the time it's food.
Most of the time it can be food. Animals are very food motivated. And one of the things that you can do when it comes to that is throw them an instinct roll when you're rolling dice for them. Very similar to the concept of doing almost like a frenzy check for a vampire. Do a willpower roll if somebody goes, but I have food. Like, at that point, it's a fight between what the animal wants itself and its instinct to feed itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's I don't know. I just love doing animal NPCs, and I don't know. Even with the Nosferatu, I find that animalism is not used as much as I would like it to be used.
No, it's probably the most underrated discipline of every edition.
Yeah.
And I firmly stand on that hill. Which is so sad
because it's one of the best disciplines in every edition.
I know, it's like I want to use it. I have a couple characters that I've really been wanting to start with, like 2 or 3 dots in animalism, because it's not just about this is something that's interesting to me, and I think it kind of lends itself maybe more to the gangrel, but like a Nosferatu who can utilize it is also a scary experience. Mm-hmm. Is that it's not really just animals or vampires, because it like disciplines and powers like the level 3 ability Quell the Beast. Mm-hmm. Like that
came
is
a big time in the game last night, actually, that I was running.
Oh really? Yeah. So that, to me, when I read that discipline, I'm like, okay, this is the alpha predator discipline power. Mm-hmm. And because you could like, and I attribute this to Gangrel, but the Nosferatu could have similar parallels to this, of like, you're in a social challenge where you're trying to get, like, say, a group of individuals to follow what you want, and they're all kind of arming against you. Well, you just hit the loudest one in the room with Quell the Beast, and he just becomes this docile, complacent, passive, no ambition whatsoever kind of person.
Yeah.
And then you just bully your way through social conversations. And so the idea of playing a Nosferatu who is like very socially integrated, or going back to the Gangrel, is like another clan that kind of seems to struggle in the social element of the game. It's like that discipline right there is kind of the quintessential, like, no. Like, I am a predator and you will bow to, show me your neck, show me your throat kind of thing.
Yield. Yeah.
Yield. Yeah, basically. And And then I think that the Nosferatu maybe they feel a little more connected. I think just thematically to the animal specific abilities, and maybe the Gangrel probably maybe have a tighter hold. But
I think the Gangrel and Nosferatu are on the same boat when it comes to that because they're so separated from human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
They are more animal than anything. I mean, if you look at the old movie Nosferatu, there's a lot of rat qualities in Count Orlok.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was actually the 1972 remake of Nosferatu. They pushed that rat connection to extremes. Like if you look at the original black and white Nosferatu with Count Orlok, which is obviously a Dracula ripoff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Completely.
It's just the Dracula story with the serial numbers.
Yeah, well, when they couldn't get permission from Stoker's widow to make the movie, so they just did it and changed the names. Yeah. But if you look at it, Count Orlok has a lot of rat-like physical qualities.
Yeah.
But if you look at the 1972,
the buck teeth, like two fangs.
Yeah, the buck teeth, the big ears, the scrawniness, the even his movements. But if you look at the 1972 remake, they made it so that everywhere Orlok went, there were literally thousands of rats because they were really pushing on the idea that the vampire was a metaphor for plague.
Okay.
Back then, but like even the character, even the look of that version of Nosferatu, and I can't wait to see the new Nosferatu that's coming out.
Oh, are they doing a remake?
Yeah, from what I understand, William Dafoe and like Bill Skarsgård is going to be in it.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
And this could be just rumors, but I keep seeing these damn posters everywhere, and it better freaking happen at this point. But but like when they did that remake in the 70s, it was just he was a rat vampire. He was just a rat.
So he basically has twice cursed as a flaw.
Yeah, pretty much.
And has the rat infestation around him.
Absolutely.
This is going to probably hinder some of my credibility as a Vampire the Masquerade fan. But I've never actually seen the Nosferatu movie, like the original or the
free
remake.
on YouTube.
I have wanted to, but I just haven't had the motivation to do it.
Yeah, it's free on YouTube, and it's not that long.
I think I don't know if it's ironic or just sad. My first introduction, I've always been a huge fan of vampires, like the concept of the vampire. Ever since I was a kid. My first introduction to Nosferatu was actually a SpongeBob episode.
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. Don't be a Nosferatu, be a Yesferatu.
I don't like SpongeBob. I love that joke.
Oh, yeah.
That is the funniest thing for me.
Just Nosferatu, because he's over there just flicking the light switch. So that, to me, that was the image I had in my mind when I first heard about the Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Just hide in the corner flicking light switches all day.
Well, it's supposed to be it's making fun of the whole concept of lights flickering when lightning happens.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I used that. I used that Nosferatu flickering the lights thing at the end of the Sanguine Samba trailer that I made.
Really?
Yeah, because it was just funny. It was just something I had to throw in there, and yeah, I got a lot of comments about that. That was really hilarious. Oh my god. Okay, so we're going off topic. So I guess we got a lot of time actually left in this one. Yeah. So let's take a look at the Nosferatu archetypes.
Okay.
We got the information hub. This is going to be your classic Nosferatu. It does talk about how when the Second Inquisition found Shreknet, many of the Toreador secretly proposed a toast to the collapse of Clan Nosferatu. The clan lost credibility and many members, but those who endured and flourished had mastered the arts of secure archiving, physically and online. They bolstered their existing bonds with contacts and clients and steadily regained the trust of Kindred, who valued the central information hub for research and the exchange of secret messages. In an area when contacts and movements between domains grow more precarious by each night, Nosferatu like these have become invaluable. If they can guarantee privacy, they can name their price. So basically,
this is Mitnick from Bloodlines.
Yeah, this is Mitnick from Bloodlines. I actually have a Nosferatu currently in Thicker Than Water named Edward, a player character who is embodying this concept of the Nosferatu as he's getting started. He's just trying to become a hub of information, and I really like having that in the game. Somebody who can find out anything.
It really is the stereo, or not. I wouldn't say stereotypical. I would say the quintessential Nosferatu, right?
It's becoming that. It's becoming the stereotypical Nosferatu. It's becoming they know everything because they're the Nosferatu.
Yeah, I have been. This is a particular topic about the Nosferatu that I've tried to think about at depth. And I think in order to make them not just, like your NPCs and player characters, not just seem like they know everything because they know everything, but you really want, to pay attention to a character like this, you really need to understand the process of how they obtain all their information. Are they trading favors? Are they just spying on everybody with animals? Are they just hoofing it themselves and obfuscate, which is not a foolproof way of obtaining that information.
Not especially
none of them are really foolproof, And I think another thing that has recently been on my mind when it comes to the Nosferatu has been like, what do they trade information for? I know that's down to the person, right? But like,
how far can money go with the Nosferatu?
Right, because they're very loyal to the clan too. I think they're, out of any of them, like the Ventrue like to pride themselves on hierarchy, but nobody's closer as a clan than the Nosferatu, I would argue.
I used to think that the way that the Nosferatu worked was very insular. Like the clan came first, obviously, because in the old games, like nobody cared if you were a Nosferatu anti-tribu or a standard Nosferatu or an anarch Nosferatu. You traded like indiscriminately information between the groups, and like if one Nosferatu gains a boon from someone, that would mean that the entire clan has access to that boon. At least that's the way that I saw it.
Honestly, I don't disagree with you on that. I think that when you deal with the information hub style Nosferatu, you are dealing with the clan Nosferatu. I think if any, and maybe I'll be proven wrong as we get into some of these others, but I think that the information hub is like the most ingrained in probably the clan interactions and clan politics.
I agree.
Do the Nosferatu really have? Because I've never actually read their old clan book. Did the Nosferatu even really have inner politics amongst themselves, or is it just kind of more individualistic politics that maybe...
I think it was more like a pecking order.
Okay. So
like this is a stronger Nosferatu, respect him. This one has interests in this stuff more than other people, respect him. That kind of thing.
Okay, but it is founded on more of a respect than a because they're not very backstabby to each other.
I mean, I don't really see them having a need to be very backstabby towards each other.
Well, that would be like, crapping where you eat.
Yeah, I mean, you hurt one Nosferatu, you've proven yourself untrustworthy to the rest of the clan. Why would you do that?
Right. Well, I was just kind of curious because I actually don't know a lot about their inner clan workings.
Yeah.
I know things about their inner clan workings, but I don't know like the full details of the full kind of structure, or if there even is a structure.
Yeah.
I've always seen it kind of presented as just like a communal extended family that you don't know everybody that's involved, but
Well, I think that's just more like communal living through necessity.
Yeah.
Because there's not places going through. There's not many places that a Nosferatu can go. To find a safe haven. So like a lot of them they just end up havening together.
Yeah.
So
I think it makes sense because nobody else really knows what they're going through, though.
that's true.
Right?
That's true.
But,
So after the information hub, we have the domain gumshoe. Nosferatu makes superb investigators, as long as they stick to the shadows and wear plenty of layers. The gumshoe is comfortable stalking the streets, darting from doorway to doorway in the rain, and show no qualms about breaking into homes, havens, or vaults for the precious last pieces of a puzzle. Sometimes recruited as domain sheriffs, this Nosferatu emphasizes research and investigation, preferring to take the thinker's route to most answers over violent means. The domain gumshoe likely comes from law enforcement, was an amateur sleuth, or has an academic background. So we're talking about investigative. Almost like, I don't know. For some reason my mind goes to the old like black and white film noir style investigators.
yeah, that's exactly where my mind goes to. I actually think I think it's Coteries of New York.
Mm-hmm.
There's a gumshoe kind of Nosferatu. I cannot for the life of me remember what his name is. But I think he's one of the MP. Like I think he actually has like a corny noir monologue that he does. That like he uses as, I don't know if he's using it as part of his masquerade or if he's using it as just like it helps him think, you know, when he narrates what's going on. But
I just see the fedora and the trench coat. Yeah.
Yep.
When it comes to that, I think that's a pretty interesting one. I don't know if I have the mind to play that character, but I do like it. I like the concept.
The concept is cool, but and I don't know. It's just not very inspiring to me.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just because like it feels like a. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's not very like. It doesn't stand out and make me go, "Ooh, I want to play that."
Yeah. I like the idea. Like I said, like you said though, it's not really something that I'm interested in doing at the moment. But I do think it looks like a lot of fun. I have a Ventru who's like that, so I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that it's a Nosferatu.
It makes me think of the Thicker Than Water werewolf game, Phil Ledoux.
Phil Ledoux. Phil Ledoux. Phil Ledoux. Yeah. Yeah. He's such a dork. Oh my god. Okay, so we got the more animal than man. The Nosferatu identifies more closely with the creatures scurrying beneath the city or flying through the suburbs at night than with the kind wandering the streets. Maybe a former pest controller, a vet, or simply an antisocial individual, this kindred speaks to animals, controls them, and likely acts like one. Some Nosferatu do not limit their animalistic urges to behavior, but become literal hives for bugs and nests for rats. They reason that their stomach and lower abdomen cavities were being used for little before, and at least the infestation benefits from the vitae. So this is going to be your living hive, Nosferatu.
Yeah, this is the Orlok remake.
Yeah, the Orlok, the Farmer Egger, or even if you wanna jump into the concept of I don't know if you've ever seen either the original or the remake to the movie Willard.
Say what is it?
Willard?
I have not.
Okay, so Willard was a horror movie made in the 1970s. There's actually there's three movies you could actually watch for this. There is Willard, which was made in the 1970s, and it's about a guy who ends up just having a very strange relationship with rats. And then there's the sequel, Ben, which takes place literally the next day, where it's one of his rats who escaped the situation from the first movie. But then they did a remake of it in the early 2000s with Crispin Glover called Willard. And it's about this guy who can just control rats. They just listen to whatever they say, whatever he says. It's a very interesting... They're not living in him, obviously. But he literally has thousands of rats at his command. It's Animalism the movie. It's awesome.
Animalism the movie.
It really is. Like, it's so cool. I do believe that the original Willard and its sequel Ben from the 70s are on YouTube right now.
Okay.
So if they are very interesting movies. I've got to say that I'm more. I enjoyed the remake more because the graphics were just a lot better, and that they weren't. It's in the 1970s. They're probably kind of hurting animals to get them to do what they want them to do.
Yeah.
But the movies are creepy, and they're just about this guy who can just do whatever he can communicate with animals a lot easier than he can communicate with the people in his life.
I know some people who are actually like that, where like they just can't.
Can't people.
They can't people. Well, they can people. They just don't like peopling.
Yeah.
People make them angry, and make them just frustrated, and they will oftentimes go off to seek like calm and to seek peace, and they find that with like riding horses and stuff like that.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, that's true. That's true. This is more like you are not using the animals to make yourself feel better. You're not using your connection with an animal to like have your socialization. It's more like you can't comprehend the bullshit that humans put themselves through. That you just need that primal natural pure relationship with an animal.
Those are some of the strongest bonds.
It can be, yeah. So after that, we have Hunter of Monsters. Having for so long been associated with animals and isolation, many forget that the Nosferatu can smash through a wall, break a spine, or rip a door off its hinges with minimal effort. With many of the Brujah and Gangrel gone from the Camarilla, the Nosferatu now exercise their capacity for brutality at much higher rates. Often embraced from criminal or survivalist stock, such Nosferatu suffer little conscience over beating an enemy into ash. So this is the Nosferatu that is primarily focused on potence.
Yeah. This kind of radiates Monroth to me a little bit.
Well, Monroth, again, he was meant to be a Brujah. Anyway.
That's true. I have to ask, is there, like, not to interrupt the flow of the archetypes, but, like, is there some kind of, like, secret rivalry between the Brujah and the Nosferatu that I don't really know about in lore? Because that would not be the first instance where I've heard about Nosferatu like stealing embraces like that, and stealing an embrace out of spite from the Brujah.
I mean, not really. No, at least not that I've ever seen. The big Brujah, the big Brujah like clan feuds that I've seen are the Brujah and the Ventru, obviously.
Yeah.
The Ventru and the Brujah and the Toreador, with their whole like, no, we feel more human than you do. Argument they have. And then there's always the first edition rivalry, the three-way battle between the Brujah, the Tremere, and the Giovanni, who argue that they are the youngest of the clans and one of them should be the ones in charge of everything. But no, not really. I've never really seen much about the Brujah and the Nosferatu. Yeah, it does seem to happen.
It does seem to happen a lot, which, you know, I think something that maybe be worth talking about is kind of fascinating is the fact that the Nosferatu don't really have clan rivalries. Everyone just kind of mutually accepts that they're useful.
Yeah, or they just don't want them around.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's something I think the Nosferatu are just going to have to be. I'm sure that's just what they're used to at this point. It's like nobody wants them around, but everybody understands that they have things that everybody else wants.
Yeah. But back to the concept here.
Yeah.
This is the concept that I think stands out the most to me.
Okay. Just the physical, brutal Nosferatu?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like, I don't know how to put it this way, but like, or any other way, but like, if, you know, putting myself in the shoes of the clan, I would be so angry. I would just, like, every interaction, I would just be because you can't escape. You literally wear your curse on the outside.
Yeah.
You can't escape it. You can't undo it. There's no hope that you'll ever change it, and you're gonna live forever if you play your cards right. That would make me incredibly angry and just want to, like, let loose and bust some skulls. And I'm not even a violent person, but like that would just, like, it feels like anger's the only catharsis that could really get that off your chest, or like allow someone in that situation to let off steam.
I can
And
see that, but I think it really depends on the individual. I mean,
it does, but I'm saying for me, right? Like, to me, I think that's the concept that makes the most sense, is just somebody who's just, I mean, well, and the Cleopatras are known for being particularly petty, which for your listeners, what a Cleopatra is, it's someone who's very attractive in mortal life, and then they get humility embraced to bring them to make them learn that there's more to life than vanity.
Yeah.
They're probably one of the most talked about kind of little cliques of Nosferatu.
Yeah, you either get you either get the Cleopatras or you get the tech obsessed.
The shut in.
Yeah. I don't know, because I mean, it really depends, like, how important in fitting into standard society is it to an individual? I think that's a big thing, because I've thought about this in the past, and if I was embracing as a Nosferatu, I'm pretty sure my whole mentality would be like, let's just make the best of this. And like, I would try not to focus on how, like, I would just try not to be angry, you know?
And you know, I mean, you know me pretty well now to know that, like, an anger response is not typically something that I would feel.
Yeah.
I'm pretty quick to I'm pretty slow to anger and very quick to find peace with the outcomes of life. But in the situation where, like, I was just thinking about, like, I would be so just sad that I think it would manifest in anger. It would manifest out, like, that's how I would have to cope with it.
See, I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, I know we've brought up Bloodlines a lot in this episode.
I was playing it before the recording, so.
Oh.
That's why.
I know we brought up Bloodlines a lot, but like, I kind of have Mitnick's mentality on being an Nosferatu, and he's like, I didn't go out much anyway.
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, I don't really get out much anyway either, but like the idea, because you have to think about it, it's like, okay, every other clan gets to pretend to be themselves, and can even if they have to cut off their mortal ties, they can still have the illusion of a normal life.
You're absolutely right. Every other clan lies to themselves.
Okay, that's fair.
I think I just have that cynical Nosferatu attitude when it comes to it. Like, if I was embraced, I'd be just like, fucking figures, you know, like.
I don't know, like, because like, I think, you know, to me personally, we're going to get into some personal topics apparently in the Nosferatu video.
Let's do that. That's what this is about.
Family and friends are everything to me. I do not do well in seclusion.
I completely agree, and family and friends would not turn their back on you if you returned to do a Nosferatu.
But I would feel like, because, you know, in my mind, it's like, you are horrifying to look at. You are a monster.
Absolutely.
You make everyone around you
absolutely, but
and yet, if people love you, they won't hate you for your appearance, obviously. Yeah. But it's that self-esteem. You know, the element of a person's. You know, when you think of who, you know, a lot of the times people refer to as like, your face is, you know, your identity. And so when you're completely and utterly just, that is shattered, you know, it's like I would feel like I can't socialize anymore, that I can't, because I'd be embarrassed, or I'd be like ashamed of what has been done to me, you know. And I'm sure I would eventually get over it, but like, that would be my initial response, I think. Yeah. If I'm just being entirely honest with myself.
I think that I look at it differently because I have a different outlook on Clan Toreador.
Okay.
My outlook on Clan Toreador is how many of them are beating themselves up because they don't know whether or not the people who want to be around them are actually around them because they like them or because of the presence discipline.
That's a really good point, but I don't want to get off on that rabbit hole because we have Toreador to record next.
No, so. we'll do Toreador for the next one. That's absolutely true.
We'll come back to that one.
But with the Nosferatu, it's the complete opposite. If anybody actively wants to be around you, it's because they want to be around you for one reason.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. See, there's
you get to throw away all that doubt of people want me because I'm supernaturally attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these Nosferatus are like, look at these people who want to be around me because I'm despite the fact that I'm supernaturally unattractive.
They're just disturbing and repulsive and terrifying.
Exactly. Yeah, but they're still hanging out.
I would probably. I had this internal kind of picture in my mind of just me dressed in a heavy coat and with a bandana or something over my face, just chilling on my friend's sofa. Rolling dice. I don't know. Maybe I could be okay with it, exactly. But I think I would be angry at the beginning.
And I think everybody is going to go through their teenage angst phase of being embraced into Clan Nosferatu, where they just want to... They're going to go into their sewer pipe, they're going to slam their door, they're going to listen to Depeche Mode, and they're just going to get things over with. And then eventually they're going to get over it and realize that there's an entire world outside of Toreador galas that they can still attend.
For me, it would just be jamming my old 3 Days Grace.
I think this is me as a dad coming out.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's all right, you go in there and you throw your little fit, and when you're done, we'll go out and get ice cream, okay?
That's funny. That's so funny. I mean, I love that, and I don't want to brush that off, but I also don't want to take light of the horror behind their situation.
No, and you shouldn't. I think that there are different types of Nosferatu, and I don't think I would be the kind of Nosferatu who hates myself because I'm ugly.
That's fair. I mean, I'm ugly as it is, so.
Is that why you won't put an actual picture of yourself on these videos?
No, I won't do that for privacy reasons.
Okay. Until Chicago.
Chicago.
Okay, so the last archetype in here is rat. It's just rat. The comparisons of the Nosferatu to rats go further than sewer-dwelling and extended incisors. History reveals repeated instances when horrors turned to their masters for their own preservation, betrayed their own for little extra, or attempted to play both sides of a conflict. The rat may be involved in corporate espionage or claim to be anarch, but scurry to their Camarilla princes at the first sign of trouble. Some rats do what they do just to stay alive and are not beyond sympathy. So, in other words, somebody who jumps back and forth just because they're trying to survive the bigger game, but won't actually choose a side of the fence.
Yeah, they're. This is someone who's afraid of commitment.
Today on Tapping the Vein, commitment issues in Clan Nosferatu.
No. I mean, this is your. I can't think of the character's name, but ironically, he turns into a rat as well. The character from Harry Potter.
Oh. Yes, you're absolutely Wormtail. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. That guy is just back and forth. He's gonna stick to. He's gonna stay 1 foot in every area just so that he has a place to go when one of the sides inevitably falls.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is a player could really get into this concept for a multitude of reasons, right? Mm-hmm. So you have the person who's they're just afraid of being left behind. You have the person who's just you have the person who's reactive because they're just afraid of being left behind, so they're afraid to commit to any one side and make the wrong choice. Mm-hmm. Or then you have another character. You have the other kind of side of it where it's this is somebody who is end all be all, puts themselves first.
Yeah.
They don't care. And that actually makes me think, when I'm putting it in those words, makes me think of my character, Jack. my caitiff Jack.
Mm-hmm.
He's a rat. But he's the world's worst best friend.
Okay.
So like this is somebody who has their goal. They know what their goal is. They know what they know what they're willing to do, which is surprisingly a lot to get what they want. And there's no one under any circumstance that they won't sell out.
Okay.
I think. And then there was another one, but it slipped my mind. But yeah, this is a concept that has a lot of room for player agency and growth to like really get into it and flesh out their motivations and the reason why they play like this. And it could, like you said too, it could very well just be a survival thing. It's like I'm just doing what I have to survive, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I've always seen the Nosferatu as just like the clan of independence. You know, like I've never really looked at them playing both sides as like a rat mentality.
No, I really haven't either. Like, it's like if you have a piece of information and multiple buyers want that information, you're just going to sell that information to everybody that'll buy it.
Exactly.
You don't have to tell them that you sold it to somebody else, but you're absolutely should, and going to. I think it's just part of the trade that they typically have, like the role they play.
Mm-hmm.
I think the rat gets into less about like just fulfilling the role the Nosferatu fulfill, and more into the character itself being just akin to a rat in that regard.
Yeah.
Which is why I kind of took it on a more like personal motivation level. Like you absolutely can have a character, a Nosferatu, who isn't inspired by the rat concept and still double deal and make, and make
well, I
good
mean,
on trade.
at that point, you're playing effectively a sell to the highest bidder mercenary kind of individual.
I think that's a really a very interesting Nosferatu concept. Actually, it's just the mercenary, info broker kind of like no allegiance necessarily. Your allegiance is to the highest bidder kind of Nosferatu.
Well, your allegiance is to yourself.
Yeah.
But you're trying to survive with everything that's going on around you, and all the pretty monsters are gonna, like, fight tooth and nail. Like, you've got better shit to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, is survival the only motivation that the Nosferatu have? Like, as, like, an overarching thing? Like, is like... Because they're not the pretty monsters, they're really not the manipulative monsters. I mean, you have the...
I don't want to say yes.
But you can't think of anything else that makes... Like, other than personal, like, individual personal reasons for why you don't just walk into the sun. Like, is there a larger overarching goal that the Nosferatu have other than just survival? Because, I think
that might be where the cryptophilia comes in, where you're just like, I want to know everything.
Right, but that's... I guess that's the clan and not the characters.
Even if it's not, like... Even if it's not, I want to know everything so I can sell the information to the highest bidder, it's just like, I just want to know. I want... But I don't really know what to say on that one. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put this out. Here's a call to everybody who watches this, is like, what are your thoughts on what a Nosferatu's
true motivation is?
What is a Nosferatu's motivation for life? Is it just survival? Is it bringing pain to those who don't deserve to live comfortably? Like, there's so many different ways you could go about it.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would have a lot of fun playing a character who just wants to make pretty monsters suffer.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of room for like a lot of different angles you could take on that in that concept. There's a lot of room there.
I know a Nosferatu concept that I came up with when V5 first came up with, that I really wanted to play, and I still kind of do. Is the concept of a Nosferatu, the sloppy seconds Nosferatu. I want to be a Nosferatu who follows Toreador around when they're, like, on quote-unquote dates.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to follow a Toreador around who's, like, going in for the long feed. And, like, who's making an evening of it. And then, like, when they're in the room doing what they're doing in bed, I want my character to be under that bed.
That's creepy.
Yeah, yeah. I want my character to be under that bed, just holding in the snickering as the show is happening above me. And the moment that Toreador is done feeding and slips out the room going, oh, this person's going to wake up with wonderful memories, I want to get out there and I want to kill that person. I want to drain them. I want to drain them completely. And then just slip into the darkness and wait for that Toreador to find out that they had accidentally drained somebody somehow.
Oh, that's freaking...
Like, I want to feed...
Is so maniacal.
I want to feed to completion on every Toreador meal. I want to eat every doggy bag a Toreador leaves behind.
That is... Okay, first of all, just you chose the word, like, the perfect words to make me cringe at every description. But also, like, that is a, like, I think that,
like, I want to slowly
motivation is spite.
I want to slowly drive every Toreador insane as it tries to feed and not hurt someone.
You want to make them just wassail? Like,
I want to make the Toreador go insane every time they try to feed. I want them to be looking for every excuse on how the hell they screwed up. I want them to be, like, trying to hide the evidence. I want them to be the ones who are complete. I want to find one Toreador and just work my way until they have just, like, lost themselves to the beast, and then just find another Toreador and do it all over again.
That's so, like, sadistic. That is honestly a really interesting concept, though.
It is a character that is really going to end up falling to the beast fairly quickly.
Oh yeah, like it's a swan song kind of character.
But, like, play to lose, man.
Yeah, play to lose.
Play to lose.
Maybe your storyteller introduces, the option for a path in which you and your storyteller design the path of spite, where you gain a morality rating as the more spiteful you behave or something. Like that character specifically is motivated, I think, like, all encompassingly by spite or just like a sadistic mindset.
I just like the idea of, like, ruining things for the Toreador when I play a Nosferatu for some reason.
I was actually gonna say, like, why is that not? Like, if you played it, because Nosferatu kind of have room for this as well as, like, fixers, right? Where, like, you could play this, like, super like, obscure, like, only the most privileged even know of your existence kind of Nosferatu, where you're like a political fixer. And
that sounds fun.
Like, you could play that up to be like, you play like your, independent autarchist Nosferatu. You could play the rat, for example, and be like, I'm not aligned to any one of your sides. I'll do a job for anybody, and
I'm here to screw you all over.
Oh yeah, at the end of the day, I'm going to screw you all over. But, like, the idea is, like, you could take jobs from the Anarchs, to get somebody blood hunted, or for breaking the masquerade, or doing something of that effect, right?
Absolutely.
Or, like, now the only reason that I was going to ask earlier is, like, why doesn't every Nosferatu just do this to all of their enemies and just control every city? Well, the answer, I think, boils down to aspects primarily. Like, the Toreador are kind of surprisingly well equipped to kind of counter that behavior, and protect themselves in that way. But, like, not every Toreador can see through obfuscate. So,
well, and like I was saying, if you're hiding under a bed, you don't really need obfuscate. Like, how many people walk into the room and, like, check under the bed?
That's true. Well, you should, because there's always a Nosferatu.
There's always a Nosferatu in the room. All right, I think we've pretty much hit everything, and we are a little bit over an hour on this. Okay. So,
this was a tough video, I think, just conversationally to have, because, like, there's not a lot really to say about the Nosferatu that I'm aware of.
I think we actually did cover a lot. Like, once we got into the archetypes and giving our opinions on things, like, and getting into the mindset. The mechanics, there's really not much to look at. The mechanics are, the Nosferatu are a very simple clan.
They are. Yep.
They have easy to understand mechanics, but like once you get into the mentality of the Nosferatu,
yeah, I was gonna say I think similarly to, and you should do this for every character, but I think similarly to the Malkavians, the Nosferatu shine in their individuality. Maybe
they really do.
Maybe that's because it's the idea of like what's the clan's goal? Well, what's the Malkavian clan's goal? Exactly, they don't really have one either.
Yeah.
So maybe this
clan goal? No, individual goal is what matters here.
Yeah, I think that even though they're the most unified as a clan, kind of quote unquote unified.
Yeah.
Maybe that is the answer to our own question. I'm still very eager to hear what the community thinks.
Definitely.
Which will kind of my closing here will be is at me in the Discord and tell me like what is the motivation for the Nosferatu? Is it individual, kind of like the Malkavian, or is it something more than just survival?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, I want to remind everybody last time that we had a little thing going on with Clan Malkavian and Silent.
Oh yeah.
Where we said
I actually managed to let myself forget.
What did we say? 500 views by May 1st.
500 views and 100 likes by the end of April.
Okay, so
I gave you all 2 months, and you magnificent monsters got halfway there in 2 days.
Okay, so currently the Tapping the Vein Malkavian episode has 465 views.
Oh my gosh.
So if we can get to 500 views by May 1st, and it has 63 likes.
Oh, that's a lot more than the last time I looked.
So we're over halfway there. We actually have 63 likes and 1 dislike. I always get 100% likes. Unless I say, hey, like this for something, and then I always get at least 1 dislike. So
there's always one.
So there's 1 dislike. I love that. But we are way, way closer to where I thought we were going to be, unless in the 42 comments that we have listed under here, Outstar might have said something.
I've been watching the comments.
I don't think we have Outstar. There's a lot of really long-standing conversation happening though. A lot of it has been
the community saying, "We felt the ping. Welcome to the family."
I know. I saw that, and I love it. So,
for those of you who aren't in the Discord but are following the Tapping the Vein series, I posted in the Discord the other day the Laws of the Night Malkavian clan character sheet, because I'm just accepting the inevitable.
So for those of you who do not know and did not see the Malkavian Tapping the Vein, which go watch it, because seriously, we only need a few more to lock Silent into this, is if we can reach 500 views and 100 likes on the Malkavian episode 3 Tapping the Vein, Silent's going to play a Malkavian version of himself at the Darkness Emergent event in Chicago.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and share some context with everybody, because I have had a lot of conversation about this in the Discord and in the comment section.
Yeah, go for it.
So I am playing Silent, a character who goes by the name Silent. He is literally just going to be me as a vampire. I was originally going to make him a caitiff, who, after being embraced and left behind with no introduction to the world of darkness whatsoever, stumbled upon a channel about Black Dog Gaming, one of his favorite tabletop games that seemed to have some correlation to what was happening to him, and where he met Mekhet, and through enough conversations, personal conversations with the YouTuber Mekhet, they both come to realize that they were actually both kindred and became friends that way. So it's a direct mirror of our friendship in real life.
Basically what's going on for real, except for like we don't have as many dental issues.
Yeah.
So
but the community challenge was, if the Malkavian video hit the 500 views and 100 likes by May 1st, the character Silent would not be a caitiff. He would be a Malkavian, because I have a love for the clan, but a severe apprehension to playing them.
Yep.
So you're all gonna make me accept the reality of my life that I am actually a Malkavian. Yeah.
You guys are going to help Silent overcome this situation and play Malkavian.
Yeah.
At
My first
Darkness Emergent.
Malkavian. Well, my first Malkavian will be at Darkness Emergent.
So on that, why don't we just hop right into self-promotion stuff? So
Yeah.
what do you have to say at the end of this?
Yeah, I am Silent Comedy. I am a administrator in the Our World of Darkness Discord. Come hang out with us at me. Spark conversation. We're doing weekly conversations right now on all of the Tapping the Vein videos. And they have been awesome. I've posted a few community questions or things that I just wanted to hear people's take on. So not all of them have to do with the Tapping the Vein, but the conversations are fun. So come and join us. We got a really great community in the Discord.
Very cool.
I've made a lot of good friends there. So beyond that, I am a concept designer of sorts. It's not really an official title or anything of that nature, but I like to have conversations with people, flesh out ideas and flesh out characters and stories and narratives and world settings and things like that. So you could, if anybody's interested in my services, we can talk business there. Beyond that, I will be at Darkness Emergent on June 6th through 9th, playing Silent the character. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting because he's going to, more than likely at this rate, going to be a Malkavian instead of a caitiff. So he still doesn't know that he's not a caitiff, though. I think that part hasn't. I don't think he's figured that part out yet.
Yeah, I think that's something that can happen through play.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much me. You want to take it away?
Yeah. I am voivodemekhet. I am the host of this YouTube channel, Our World of Darkness. I am also going to be at the Darkness Emergent event June 6th through 9th. And not only am I going to be there playing a character based off myself, I play Mekhet, who is a neonate Tzimisce who's trying to make his way through Kindred society and probably not listening to his sire enough. Truthfully, with the way things are going. But I am also going to be storytelling 2 events at Darkness Emergent, a neonate cam game, which is now sold out. I do not have any more tickets for that. That is completely full. And an Ancilli Anarch game. I will also be hosting that has some spaces left, I believe. Other than that, I am a storyteller for hire, and God, that's actually kicking off a lot. I've been doing a lot of client games lately and having a lot of fun.
I need to start promoting my storytelling. I need to get back into storytelling. There's a lot of people out there hurting for storytellers.
Yeah. For those of you who want to, also on my Patreon channel, which is Patreon, Our World of Darkness, you can actually sign up for monthly chronicles. I'm happy to run games for you and members of people who are in those tiers to run vampire, werewolf, or hunter. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all I've got to say right now. I'm excited about the next one. We're going to be doing Toreador.
Yeah,
after this.
Sign of the Roads. Yeah. So, as far as I was going to add into the conversation on your Patreon real quick, a little shilling for that is if anybody will, what's the tier that I'm in? I forget the name of it. It's the highest tier.
Oh, the highest tier? I've got the that would be the Denizens of I believe it's Denizens of Our World of Darkness. Let me.
Okay. You rechanged the name, so I couldn't remember what it used to be called. Something, I forget what the original name of it was, but anybody who subscribes to Mekhet's Patreon, I will offer a free character creation session.
Oh, very
if you
cool.
join me in the highest tier on his Patreon.
Very, very cool. Yeah, just to let everybody know here, we've got a patron of Our World of Darkness, which is $1 a month, and what that gets you is access to all of the videos that we put out on the YouTube channel, with no ads. It's $1, and it's basically just thank you very much for helping us. We do have a $10 benefactor, which I want to add some stuff to, but right now it's just out of the kindness of your heart. We highly appreciate that kind of thing. It helps us to produce this type of content. And then after that, we have Denizens of Hunger, Denizens of Rage, and Denizens of Desperation, which is you get a monthly session with me and other members of those tiers to basically build your own World of Darkness experience that I will run you through. And then, the absolute highest is the Denizens of Our World of Darkness, which lets you not only play in a game that I'm running with your friends, it also is set in the world of my tabletop Thicker Than Water, and things that you do can actually affect what happens to the players at my table. So
it's big fun. It's big fun.
Yeah, that one I have to say that I've had a couple of people who have done that, and it has definitely caused some interesting effects in the Thicker Than Water game. It
used to be called your Patreon used to be based off of the statuses.
It was
luminary tier was what I was trying to remember.
But I changed around the Patreon simply because I was trying to basically reflect the kind of stuff that I was offering in each tier.
It's great. So people, I will do free character creation with anyone who joins me on that high tier.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been fun. I'm still really enjoying this series.
Me too. And there's a lot more to go. We got a lot of people who are also asking, they're like, when's La Sombra going to happen? I'm like, we'll get to it.
I know. There's been like one or two people in every comment section. It's like, I can't wait for La Sombra. I'm like, we're going to get there. We got a lot to say on the La Sombra. So.
Yeah, we will definitely get there. We're doing this in book order, so it's going to take us a little bit.
We're like halfway through the core book.
Yeah. So, yes, I am Voivodemekhet. This is the Tapping the Bane. Thank you for joining me, Silent. And
thank you for having me.
We will be back in the next episode of Tapping the Bane.
Drop that sick outro.